Hey guys, Nonofix here. So what we got here today? A VW Tiguan 2009 2-liter diesel. Quite nice car. Sunroof, parked by itself, sensors. Got lots of bit of kit, you know. It's a nice car. But we have a problem in here. I remember I picked up this car probably some months ago for my friend, and he was driving fine. But now he developed a weird fault. So when you start a car, the engine runs very rough. And you can see the RPM jumping a bit, and looks like the engine is misfiring. So I will show you what is the problem. So we will start the car. Copyright thing. Turn off. Well, let's see if you will pick up the revs jumping a bit. So the car is shaking a lot. Like you can see the revs. And the car is shaking like you can feel. So I will show you the engine, how it looks like. It's like, let's say, it looks like he's running in 3 cylinders. And it quite stinks from the exhaust as well. And yesterday when they delivered the car, it was lots of smoke. Yeah, like you can see, it's smoking a bit. It's like a blue smoke, like oil. Or too much diesel, wet smoke, let's say. Yeah, it's a little bit bad. So, yeah, when you drive the car, it seems fine when you drive when the RPMs is higher than 1.5. It drives fine, but of course it smokes a bit. And yesterday when they dropped the car, the DPF filter was doing the regen, and it was lots of smoke and stinks a lot, burning. That's normal for DPF smell of burning, but the smoke, not really. So we have to diagnose this. This is a weird problem. So we plug the machine, and it comes back if the fuel regulator, I think is the P0165. I'm not sure, but I will put a picture in here. Then you will see what code it was, and then we can connect the laptop as well. We can have a look. So we changed the regulator on the fuel pump, and it's still exactly the same. So he gets a little bit better because it was worse than this, but it's still playing up. So what I have to do now is the basic checks. So I did the service on this car, so I changed the oil, the fuel filter, everything. So I know the fuel filter is new, and metal on the fuel, well, was just a little bit, nothing major, you know. So it's nothing to concern. Always the cars have just a little bit of particles on a fuel when you change the filter, just a little bit. My Mondeo is 2015 and it has as well, so that's normal. Not a lot, like big pieces. Of course, that will be strange, but anyway. So let's forget about that. So what I will do probably in this car now is do my basic checks. So I want to check the injectors first. So I will check the injector leak test and see when the car is running how much diesel the injectors is putting out. So this is my first test to make sure it's not the injector play up. But of course the code's still on. So after change that pressure regulator is still on, but is another pressure regulator valve on a fuel rail. And to be honest to you, I think is that part. I'm not sure, but I think that part could be the problem of this car. Because I changed before on the BMW, and it was the same thing the BMW was doing. But I just want to do my check first, and then see how it goes. It probably is something else, but we have to see it. But of course, I will share this problem with you. Then, if you have similar problem, probably this will be a video will help you out to fix. So let's go check the injectors now. So before I start messing around with the injectors, let's check the codes in here. So if I go here, this sensor is all the time come back after even the first regulator we changed. I don't think it make difference at all. So I was right on the code, well, wrong on the code. This actually is a P1065. So yes, that fuel regulation, I think is something to do with that fuel valve on a rail. Okay, so that's why we have to see what's happened if that's fuel pressure regulator. So let's go first do the test in injectors. Or probably let's go to this pressure regulator and see. I don't know why this don't focus, but let's go to this pressure regulator and see really if it's something there wrong and we need to check. So let's do it. Another thing I just did realize, so I was checking here the diesel particle filter. I'm sorry guys, but for some reason I can't really focus on a screen because this is a touch screen and then it gets a little bit weird. But if I press in here to check the DPF filter, looks like it's full. And now I'm a little bit curious if this the problem this car is having is because of the DPF. So like you can see, it's 210 and it should be, it can the limit for the particle filter exchange is 175. Right, okay, so it's probably is a problem with the DPF filter? I don't know, but it probably can be. So what I will try to do is probably try regen and see, because yeah, it's a little bit strange, you know. Yeah, and then it says something in here quite interesting. So what it was, what I just see that. Due to a risk of fire, do not perform regeneration if the shot quantity is over the limit value. Oh dear. Right, so I know the Volkswagens, they have a little bit issue with these filters. But you know what is bizarre is the engine light is not on at all. And there's not any code for the diesel filter. So I don't think really is the diesel filter problem in here. I'm a little bit confused now actually for what I'm seeing in here. Because this laptop, I'm sorry guys, I'm very sorry, but this laptop is a little bit of pain for you see it. You can't really see it. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused about that one. So here is some tests we could do, but I don't think it's nothing in here. Actually, even you don't open the window, but okay. And even if we check in here, there's not much we can do really. No. Right, okay. So actually what I will do, so I will delete this code. So like you can see, it don't will be there anymore. Of course, when you start driving and stuff like that, the code will come back. So I will start my checks first. So let's check the injectors, see how they are. Let's check that regulator pressure valve and we go from there. Okay, so stay there. Right, guys, sorry to don't film this, but I just will show you something I just found. So I was on a computer, see the values of the diesel, and it's something not makes sense. And another thing not makes sense is the power in here, if this plug disconnected, if the meter is about 9 volts, let's say, okay? So it's not enough to push the valve, but that's not the problem. So if the engine running, this is disabled. This is only sends 1 volt. Of course, this is not enough to open the valve because it's not needed. When I disconnect this valve, I have a fault straight away about valve regulator 2. It means this one is the number 2, this one is the number 1. Now, is something funny in here, and a little bit bizarre to be honest. I disconnect this plug, okay? And the engine is running perfect. No problems whatsoever, and I can show you, it's not shaking and is working how it should. Now, I'm just thinking, oh, this part number is wrong for this car, this part. Or is something wrong if the fuel pump itself? I'm not sure, but I will show you now how the car runs. RPM is stable. Of course the glow plug is flashing because I disconnect the sensor. So, have a look. It's stable. Now, if I will plug this sensor in here, okay. Well, probably now the ECU will detect it. I just plug this. But now, if I do this, because the glow plug's still on, see? Still flashing. And the engine light is on now. But now, if I do this, start again the car. If that thing plug, well, that's quite amazing because it looks like everything back to normal now. Everything back to normal now. Okay, that's a little bit bizarre. So the engine now is running perfect. Yeah, it's running perfect. Okay. Right, so what I will do is, my computer is dying, but what I will do is delete the codes in here. So you see, you got the number 2 and the number 3. The number 2 is the one I disconnect in a rail. This is the number 2 on a pump. This one is the one all the time shows up. So now what I will do, delete the codes. My computer will die anyway, so, but the code is off. Okay, so I just will close the program because my computer will go in a minute. So take off the ignition, the key in ignition, put the ignition back. Let's start the car. Well, it looks stable to me. It's still shaking a bit, but of course this is diesel, but it's better. You remember before it was like Okay, that's a little bit. Even the exhaust is better now. Okay, I can't really tell you why. I can't really tell you what actually did happen in here, you know. So what I know is all the time we have this fault come back, but now the engine changed. Now the RPM is stable. I don't know. To me, what I think, probably is something wrong if this wires and this plug, and then this gives bad connection in here, because the fault on the computer is not present all the time. So I don't know if this sensor is not good for this car, not proper for this car. That's for start with. But it's running now fine. It's not misfiring. I didn't do anything. I didn't connect even the injectors to the test bottles. Nothing. I'm just checking in here the power, and it was a little bit odd because it's only one volt. No, makes sense, but actually makes sense because if this is not working correct, and the RPM is up and down, and before it was crazy, it was 60 bar, and then 120 bar, and then 200 bar, and then 60 again. So it was changing a lot. So I will grab the charge off the laptop and we will check the values now and see how it looks like. Well, it looks good to me, but let's see. So, okay, let's check now again the pressure. Just put my laptop for charge and then we go from there. So I tell you what, it's a little bit odd. I will just put the camera in this way because it's a little bit foggy and it will make your eyes a little bit funny. It's a little bit odd because I didn't do anything. I just disconnect that sensor. put the contacts more tighter and put back on a sensor, and looks like the car is running better. It's not 100% because probably the DPF is a little bit full, but it's better than before, and it's not up and down. Okay, so now we will see how the diesel thing. I say can't. Oh yeah, of course. Nuno did something dodgy here. If this is not plugged to the laptop, this never will happen. Never will work, I mean. So okay, let's go. You can see my reflection. Hi. So now what I have to do is come in here and then see where is the pressure. Sorry guys, if it's a little bit, I don't know why this laptop is like that. I think it's because the touchscreen thing, but it's a little bit annoying. Not that. Fuel quantity, engine torque. I just need to right, we can start in here, then we go through. So like you can see the numbers. Oh, I can't see nothing in a phone if I'm filming right or not. Right, but guys, wait a second. Well, I don't think you can see, guys. I'm struggling with this laptop. Yeah, but it's still jumping a lot. But the engine is running perfect. So I just want to see the pressure. Why? Why does phone no focus on a laptop? Fuel pressure control valve. Yeah, because if you see, it still goes up and down, but not to 60 like before. And the specifically value is 264, and it's going like, I don't know, I think that regulator is playing up. See if I can see something here. That's jumping a lot. That one is 0. That one is 3. I don't understand these things in here. It doesn't matter. Even the camshaft now is more stable. Well, because the engine actually is. Yeah, and now it's good, you see? So that before this was jumping a lot, 600, 700, but now, if you see, it's stable. So actually the engine speed now is good. So, is this sensor wasn't good? It's good, it's working how it should. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit confused in here, but what I think did happen in here is, so the fault before the computer pickup, it was this, okay? So like I said before, I was checking these two sensors now. The power to this one was a little bit odd, but now makes sense if this one will do his job properly. One thing I don't know is, even if this disconnected, the car shouldn't start. Well, in this engine I'm not sure, but I know the 1.5 from Renault or even Peugeot, if you disconnect this sensor, the car never will start, because this sensor should close the valve. Well, it makes sense. So what this sensor does in here, if you disconnect it, it's still working. That's a little bit, or probably this sensor works another way around. So when it's disconnected, it's open, and when you connect it, it starts close a little bit, you know. So yeah, but the car is running fine. I'm a little bit confused with this one, but like I said, so the fault it comes for this sensor all the time. You say it's not all the time there, it's just sometimes this fault come back. But when this car will start, it looks like a bag of spanners. But like you can see now, it looks good. Of course the pressure is a little bit jumping a bit, but hey, It can be the sensor playing up is not right for this car. Also can be the timing belt is not set up correct if the pump, because some people say, oh, when you change the timing belt, don't worry about the high pressure fuel pump. That's not true, okay? Because on a fuel pump you got a notch to lock in place. If you have a tooth out on a fuel pump, it should be okay. But if you have the pump all the other way around, I saw cars make very weird noises when the people change the belt like that. Me, I all the time lock the pump and lock the camshaft and the crankshaft, so all of them will be aligned perfect. So yes, so the car looks like it's good. I'll tell you what, let's start one more time. I think the guy will be very happy with that. Well, I think it's better we get another sensor. Yeah, it's working great. It's working great. Okay guys, so I hope this will help you. Probably if you have this issue you will have another kind of problem, but like you see, this one actually was probably a bad connection to that sensor, or probably that sensor is not good, one or another. But what now I will do, so I will keep this car maybe 2 days and drive this car around and check the DPF as well is full, so this car needs a good run. So I have to put some fuel on it and take for a good run. And because the DPF code is not on the system and the engine light is not on, but the computer says full, so I don't really get it what's happened. But I just have to take for a good test drive and see. But for now I think it's fixed. So I just will have a better look on that sensor and that plug, see if that plug is not broken, and yeah. So guys, I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, please, you can answer below. I'm a little bit surprised, really. If you are, I am, because I didn't do nothing actually technical in here. The only thing I check is the codes on a computer. So that valve on the rail is the valve regulator number 2. That's not the valve come on a system. The only one come on is the one on a fuel pump. What I was thinking, it could be issue with injector leaking too much fuel back. It could be a problem with the fuel pump, or it can be a problem with that sensor, or the wires from the ECU to that sensor is not working correct, or probably is broken somewhere, or the plug maybe is broken. Because who changed the sensor was the guy father, and probably broke the connector when he tried to remove from another sensor. Hey, I don't know. I'm just saying what could be. Okay, so stay tuned for more videos, and I see you around. Have a good day, enjoy it, and hope your Tiguan don't let you down. This is the more important thing. See ya! Hello guys, Fix here again. So, looks like this video didn't end. To be honest to you, is the good news, the engine is running fine now. The bad news is something else. The DPF on this car gone. So I was just doing my research now, and I see the DPF on this car. I did the regen, so I will put a clip and I will show you. I was doing the regen, because it's still lots of blue smoke come out from the exhaust when you're driving, and then the RPM go till 1000. So the car trying to. Now I got a light fault somewhere. Well, okay, it doesn't matter. So if I check this this in here, if my phone will focus, then you can see it. So like you can see, the shot volume volume on this filter is 210 already, and filter exchange is about 175. So this filter gone, and I did already the regen, and this didn't change nothing. So yeah, and actually when you go here to the regen, it says in here if the shot quantity is over the limit value, so it means the DPF gone. The good news is that code from the regulator gone, so that's a good news. But the bad news for the owner is the DPF have to be replaced, and there's nothing else I can do here to help. The Volkswagens, they have lots of issues with the filters. I know that. Well, any car, let's say, this depends how the person itself drives the car, if you do long journeys and stuff like that. So it's not really the car sometimes faulty. The people have to drive more often on a motorway and higher RPMs to do a clean cycle. Yeah, so well, I'm a little bit disappointed I can't help this guy more. But the good news is the car is working fine now. The RPM is stable and the car is not shaking. So the car changed a lot, you know. It changed a lot, so I'm happy with that. But of course the DPF thing now, this have to be sorted, otherwise, well, I don't know what he wants to do. I'm just have to wait what the owner wants to do. And the DPF on these cars, they are a little bit a pain to take it off. They are behind the engine. But well, guys, I hope this helped you about the engine shaking. Of course, this car did have a code for that regulator and we replaced, and the code's still there, but it was bad connection in the end because everything now is fine. But when the car was doing the regen, the engine was shaking a lot, and I think is because the DPF is a little bit full. Is it over the limit, and then the engine, I think, struggles to put the fumes out. This is what I think. So because I did have a Peugeot before, a Peugeot engine with the same problem, yeah. So it was quite even hard to blow through the DPF. So it was getting all blocked. So it was packed, let's say. So I think this car is exactly the same. So it will need a new filter. After new filter, the car will be sorted. And well, about that light is a sensor gone on a wheel, I know that. And this, I can disable this if the computer, because the guy said he won't disable this out, and that light now is just appear. So when I close the bonnet, probably some bad connection on a bulb. Well, in some ways, I hope this video will help you and will be good information for you about that sensor. But like you see, now it's running fine, so that problem gone and sorted, and no codes. But now the DPF is the only problem I'm going here. The car is driving fine, but I think that it will go in a limp mode because of the DPF. The DPF is full. The thing I'm a little bit surprised is no any codes for the DPF saying it's full or stuff like that. So I'm a little bit puzzled on this one, because Fords and Peugeots and another brands, Renaults, they have a fault straight away for the DPF filter. This one has nothing. Even the engine light is not on. I don't know. It is a little bit weird, this one. But well, I hope I did help you in some way. If you like the video, please put a thumbs up. If you don't like, you can put a thumbs down and just tell me why, and the next time I can do something different. Okay, so I hope I did help you, and thank you for watching, and have a good day.